Okay guys, Monday the 29th of October. I have just been triggered into a short position. I've actually been in the short position for around about sort of 5 to 10 minutes on the FTSE 100 5-minute time frame. So basically after this strong rejection candle at 120, as the market started to break down, I was happy to get into a sell position. So as always with the live trade, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of talk you through the analysis behind the trade. So give you the reasons for getting into the trade. And then as the trade develops, I'll kind of talk you through what I'm doing, what I'm looking at. If I'm looking to come out of the trade, I'll try and explain to you the reasons behind that. So coming into the FTSE today, well, first of all, actually, there's not been a live trade for a couple of weeks. I've been on a holiday. I was in Egypt. I did look at the charts when I was in Egypt. I considered sort of doing the whole trader thing, taking a trade, sitting beside the pool, but the internet was absolutely terrible. And my girlfriend was sort of looking over my shoulder saying, there's absolutely no way you are going to take a trade on holiday when the internet is also cutting out, because it's a recipe for disaster. And of course, she was right. Coming into today on the FTSE, actually what I'll do is I'll go on to the 4-hour time frame. Coming into today, I was looking at this double bottom on the 4-hour time frame. I was looking at this key level of resistance, and I was looking at this sloping resistance level. And what I basically went over with subscribers, I also posted this screenshot up onto the Twitter and the Facebook. If we started to get up above this level, it's very likely we would then see a stronger bullish move coming into the market. And that's exactly what we've seen. However, it didn't set up in a way that I was able to capitalize on. So I just basically had to watch the market make that movement and sit on the sidelines. A little bit frustrating when you've got the analysis and the market starts to do what you're looking for it to do, but there's no way with your trading plan to get into it. It just happens sometimes. There's really nothing you can do about it. But the market then came up and started testing at this resistance level. Now, for the entirety of the day, since 6:30 this morning, we've been following this trend line, this intraday trend line on the 5-minute time frame. So strong move up. We then came into a level that I was looking at as key resistance. I always mark those up just by writing key in the zone to remind me. We then started to reject. Now we started to reject and we came down and tested at this sloping support level. As we started to test the sloping support level, we haven't tested at it since 9 this morning. I was fully expecting the bulls to just step in and force the market back up once again. However, what happened instead is we tried to bounce and then we rejected. So now potentially we were putting in a bit of a double top at a key level of resistance, which is also breaking through an intraday trend line. The low of the candle for the entry is sitting below that center point of the double top, which is usually considered the sort of trigger point. If it breaks down from the double top center point, it's likely you're going to see the double top making the movement. On top of that, the first kind of bounce area for me was relatively far away, all the way down here. So it was kind of like everything coming together on this trade. And I was kind of looking at it as a fairly high probability setup. So I was then happy to get short. We are starting to make a relatively strong move down. My stop has actually just jumped down to break even. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping we're just going to break down below this swing point and we're going to see a strong move down to this whole swing area here, all the way down to sort of 7,043. Because looking on the daily time frame, the way I'm looking at it is a sort of solid bounce point, if the bulls are going to step back in, would be back down towards sort of 7,055 and lower. So there is the potential to see that retracement back down into those levels. So hopefully we see the market making that move down. If we do start to test at this level, that's when I'll basically be considering taking profits. If we just hold at this level, I will also obviously start considering taking profits. But we'll wait and we'll see. It has set up pretty nicely. It's got a lot of different things going for it. So hopefully we see that stronger movement down. With this as well, actually, just popped into my head. Usually when the trading videos are running, I try and sort of talk about something else. And it's usually something that's been brought up recently, maybe on the YouTube channel, or something that a student's asked me And then I can sort of go over it and I can sort of give details and some examples. I got asked a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember exactly when, why I only look for sort of one good trade in a day. And what that means is if I have a good trade, so if I take a trade and it works out and gets me good profit, I will just sort of close up shop for the day and I'll get away from the charts. And I got asked, why don't I continue to trade? Why don't I continue looking for more setups? And it's actually quite an important point. What I'll do is I'll give you sort of my reasoning, but then I'll also kind of explain to you why it's important for other traders also. And I don't mean just taking one trade. I mean what I'm going to talk about. So for me, when I first came to trading, as everybody does, I was just sort of looking to make money. And as a trader, that's the main aim. Yeah, you want it to be your job, or maybe it's your secondary income, maybe it's for your retirement. You want to make money. Yeah, that's the only reason we sit and watch these candles. If there was no money attached, it would be a pretty boring thing to sit and do. So the main aim is to make money. However, trading is extremely difficult and it's extremely frustrating. You can go through some really sort of dark periods with trading when you're having a hard time of it. And what I found whilst I was learning is that just focusing on the money made it more difficult. If I simply focused on the money, I would do things like, the trade's open on the screen right now because it's the live trade, so you guys can see it. But usually I don't have the trade open, the sort of profit and loss. I'm just watching the charts, I'm watching the pip counter, and I'm watching my targets. And I'm just trying to sort of analyze the market. If I focus on the money, I start to make mistakes. If I focus on the money and I have a loss, what I start to do is, let's say you've got your account and you lose 1%. I'll start sort of looking at it as, okay, I now need to make back 1% before I'm back at the even level. Then I start to build again. Even if I've had sort of 4 wins in a row first, and then I have the loss, I don't see it as I've had 4 wins and then the loss, and that's just part of trading. My head, if I'm focusing on the money, I start to just see that one loss. And I start to say, okay, well, why didn't I just hold it and not get into that trade? And then I start making mistakes. I start getting more emotional. And so what I had to do is I had to sort of find different reasons for trading, different benefits of learning to trade. So basically things that helped me go through the process. And for me, one of those things was the freedom that trading could offer me. And I strongly suggest, if you are learning to trade, especially if you are sort of finding those difficult times like I was finding when I was learning, you have to have something more than just the money to focus on. If you're just focusing on the money, first of all, it's not healthy. Yeah, it's really not healthy. But it's going to make it much more difficult, because all you're going to be thinking about is the money in your head. And when you start to have drawdowns, you're going to start to get really frustrated and you're going to start to make mistakes. So for me, the main reason I wanted to trade was for the freedom it afforded me. Sometimes, and it's rare, it doesn't happen all the time, sometimes I will get a trade at 8 in the morning, or maybe sometimes 7:45 in the morning, and it will complete, I'll be finished by 8 in the morning. Sometimes I'll be finished by 10 in the morning. And for me, there's no other sort of job that I can do where I just sit down at the charts, and sometimes I'm only working for 30 minutes to an hour, and I've made my money, and that's me done for the day. And for me, that freedom is the main positive of trading. It's why I love it so much. I don't have to work full days. I don't have to work 9 to 5 all the time. Sometimes I'm sitting here until 4 p.m. and it's just like a normal job, and it's really frustrating and nothing sets up for you, or you have a loss and you look at it and you say, oh, for the entire day I've just worked, I've actually lost money. Those days still come, but I had to reframe it in my head to look at the attraction to trading. And the attraction to trading isn't sitting at a desk all day for me. I don't enjoy doing that. You start to get, your back starts to get sore, your arms start to get sore because they're on your desk all day, your knees start to get sore, you start to get a headache from the focus on the charts. So for me, I would rather take that one solid trade and have my day. Maybe I can go meet my girlfriend for lunch if she's at work. Maybe I can just take the dog out for a walk. And those sort of rewards for me keep me focused. They keep me doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And also they make trading the perfect sort of business for me. If I just thought about trading as a way to make money, and I sort of weighed in everything I had to do, and going through the frustrating periods, going through the periods where you don't make any money, it would seem like I would be better off doing something else. But if I start adding in other benefits, like being able to finish first thing in the morning if I want to, and also taking days off whenever you want, you don't have a boss, all those sort of things for me were a lot more beneficial than just focusing on the money. So maybe I could sit and make extra money, but it's not worth it for me. I would rather have my day. I would rather have my freedom. And I suggest if you're learning to trade, or even if you're just going through difficult periods, try and think of different reasons for trading than the money. If you can remove the money from your head, it makes it a lot easier. And that doesn't mean you guys have to finish after one trade. Some people like to trade all day, absolutely fine. But what I'm saying is if you just focus on the money, it's going to be a lot more difficult to be consistent in the long run. You have to have some sort of enjoyment with trading. And you have to have some sort of benefit, some sort of passion, whatever you want to call it. And for me personally, that benefit and that passion is the freedom that trading affords me. So maybe you've already got those things. Maybe you already know exactly why you like to trade outside of the money. And if you do, you can let me know. They're actually quite interesting to hear the different reasons. I kind of talked about this before a little while ago, but I've not really went in depth into the reasons behind why I finished trading after one trade and the way I sort of look at trading. Okay, so with this trade, we are just testing at this level of potential support from the bottom of this little swing point right here. We are just holding that. At present, I am still happy to be in this trade, looking for that move down. The reason I'm a little bit sort of concerned is because we've had a double top here. Very often when you see a double top, you break down, you pull back, you retest before you have significant selling coming in. But we've had a fairly strong breakdown here already. So I'm still happy to hold into this, hoping for that stronger move down toward at least that sort of 7,052 level as I mentioned. But what I'm going to do is I am going to pause the video. We're up at around about 12 minutes. And then I'll turn it back on if the market starts to move one way or the other. If we start getting down toward the profit target, I'll turn it on, explain what it is that I'm looking at. If we start getting back up toward the break-even level, again, I'll turn it back on. And you can just basically see the market taking me out at break-even. We are starting to put in a little bit of a bullish bounce, but as I've mentioned, we're testing down at the lows of this swing now. I am hoping for it to sort of roll over and make another attempt at 7,052. Okay, so I have now closed out the trade for profits. It is looking like it's going to come down a little bit more, but I was happy to lock that in at £1,500. So really good trade, worked out really nicely. I was looking at it as high probability. I should actually also mention, if you are new to the channel, that was slightly higher risk than I usually risk on the live trade videos on the YouTube channel. The reason for it was a very high probability trade for me personally, and I didn't want to risk slightly less than I would normally risk. So I just went in with full risk on the trade rather than just risking £500. And it's worked out very nicely on this occasion. So lots of different things added together for that trade to make it make sense for me. It then became a high probability setup. Even though we've had a very strong bullish rally, I'm still watching for signs that the market is potentially switching. And for me, that was the break of this sloping support level, added in with the double top. The double top also, the second test here was lower than the first, which is a bearish signal. The signal candle was breaking down below the center of the double top, so it's all sort of adding up to suggest that it's going to give a bearish movement. Okay, guys, so as always, I hope that was helpful. I hope you're all having a good trading week. I'm James Orr, and thank you.